My name is Ondrej, and in this video I'm going to teach you how to build AI agents for anything and everything, even if you are a complete beginner. The popularity of MCPs is absolutely exploding. It's clear that building AI agents with MCPs is the next big thing. But just like with most opportunities, the vast majority of people are going to completely miss out. So don't be one of them, watch until the end and start building AI agents. Real quick, I'm hiring a backend developer to help me build Vectel. So if you have 5+ years of experience, make sure to apply. The link is below the video. Now we're going to use na10 to build our AI agents. And there are 4 main reasons why. First of all, na10 is open source, meaning you can run it anywhere. Second of all, it is visual. As you can see, it's easy to understand what is happening. Number 3, it's easy to set up and use. And number 4, it's very customizable with a very powerful AI agent inside of it. Now actually, we're going to take it a step further because we're going to combine 2 emerging technologies right now, MCP and na10, into one. So as you can see, my first MCP video was over 4 months ago and my first na10 video was over 3 months ago, meaning I was early to both of these. And I'm telling you, this video is another one of these. If you actually watch this all the way to the end, and if you actually implement what I'm showing, you're gonna be one of the few people who can actually build AI agents with MCPs. So by combining these 2 powerful technologies, we can build AI agents for literally anything and everything. And this was made possible by the latest na10 update, which allows MCPs to be run straight from na10. So they added this MCP server trigger, and again, I'll show you all of that step by step in this video. But this allows us 2 main things. Number 1, it lets you run na10 from anywhere. So if your Claude desktop or your cursor or any AI agent that uses MCPs can call workflows that you built inside of na10 that utilize these hundreds of native integrations that they have inside. So that's the first reason why you should do this. But the second reason is just as exciting, and that's allowing you to bring anything, any tool into na10. So not only can you take na10 and bring it out into any AI agents, but inside of na10, thanks to this MCP client tool, you can now bring in any MCP tool from the web, and there are literally tens of thousands of MCPs already, into your na10 automations. So this is why I'm so excited about this, because this is literally one of the biggest updates in the history of AI agents. So now that you understand the implication and the potential of this, let's get to building. Now before we start building AI agents, you need to understand what the single biggest mistake that people make with agents. So obviously most people completely ignore them and never build any, but those people who take the time and build a few AI agents, they usually do so on their laptops, right? They do it on their computer, and they build a few AI agents, right? They have them in Python, they're there, but they fail to do the next step. They have the AI agents, they can do some task, but they fail to deploy them somewhere. This is the single most common mistake I see. People don't know how to deploy their AI agent somewhere. They don't know where to host them so that they're running 24/7. Because if your agents aren't running 24/7, then they're really not saving you time. I mean, sure, you can run an AI agent once or twice, but the real power is in building autonomous AI agents that save you time every single day. For example, I have an email agent that goes through every single incoming email on all of my addresses and categorizes them, right? That is saving me multiple hours a week, and it's running autonomously on a server, virtual private server. That's the important step that most people never do. They might create a few AI agents and they might even get them up and running and make them really useful, but they fail to host them somewhere, they fail to deploy them somewhere so that they actually run in production, saving you time for years to come. So this is exactly what I'm going to show you now. Now, by far the easiest way to host your AI agents is on Hostinger. Now, they have many different plans, but I think the KVM2 plan is more than enough because it allows us to host hundreds of AI agents on na10. So once you select the plan, make sure to select the period. I think 12 months is the best deal because you get 56% off. Plus, if you use my code David, you get additional 10% off because Hostinger decided to sponsor this video. So after applying the coupon code, just fill out the checkout page with your address and credit card details. And once you do that, you get redirected to the na10 setup. So click on Start Now, select the server that's closest to you. For me, Germany is fine. Then type in na10 and select the pre-built na10 template. Set a root password for your VPS. And then click on Finish Setup. This is the Hostinger panel. It takes about 2 minutes to set up your VPS when you buy it. Then click on Manage, and here, this is your server. This is where all of your AI agents will be hosted. Now, you might be tempted to jump into na10 right away and, create your MCP and do all that. However, most of you actually won't be able to do that because when you click on the nodes and type in MCP, you need to see the MCP server trigger. However, if you have an outdated version of na10, you will not see that. So go back to your Hostinger panel, click on Manage, and then in here we need to do Browser Terminal. And again, if you don't know anything about the terminal, don't worry. I'm going to show you everything step by step. Super simple. Just copy what I'm doing. And if there's anything that you need to copy paste, I'm going to put it in the description so you can easily take it from there. So the first thing you can do is just type in clear to clear the terminal. And after that, we need to install Docker with the official script. So this is the official thing you need to do. curl-fsslhdbs-docker.com. We need Docker running. Now here, this will do a 20-second timer, just ensuring that you actually know what you're doing, because using a terminal can be risky if you're not familiar with that, right? Obviously, we're using a virtual private server, so this doesn't affect your computer whatsoever. This is just setting up our hosting VPS. Okay, so after 20 seconds is over, it will start installing Docker. Okay, beautiful. Then you can type in clear again. Next, we need to start Docker and on reboot. So this is the command, systemctl enable --now Docker. Boom, clear. Then, and this is the important step, we need to pull the latest n8n image. So the reason why most of you will not see the mcpServer trigger inside of n8n is because your n8n is outdated. It hasn't been updated with the mcp update. So by running this command, docker compose pull n8n, we will get the latest and greatest n8n version. So let's clear that. Then we need to stop and remove the old container. So just run docker compose down, clear again, and then start n8n with the new Docker image. Again, all of these terminal commands will be linked below in the description so you can easily copy paste them. Now the last thing you can do is run this command to check if everything is running, and looks like it is. So we can hit clear. We can go back into the Hostinger panel and click on Manage App. After you click the Manage App account, it will open up the n8n server. Now, if this is your first time using n8n, you actually need to create a new account before you can log in. If you already did this, just log in with your n8n account. After you log in, you should see all of your n8n automations. If you don't have any, don't worry, just go to top right, click on Create Workflow. This is where we're going to be building our AI agents from scratch. So again, you don't have to be a programmer, you don't need any previous n8n experience. I'm going to show you everything step by step so that you can get your AI agents with MCPs running here in n8n. Okay, so once you're in n8n, click on the plus and type in MCP. You should see the mcpServer trigger. If you don't see it, you didn't follow the steps in the terminal correctly. So repeat those steps to update your n8n to the latest version. Okay, so let's select the mcpServer trigger, make sure to switch to production URL, and then save it. Now, we're going to start by just adding a simple tool, something like a calculator, right, to test it out. We're going to add more advanced tools later, obviously. So with calculator, you don't need to do any setup, you just add it, and then save again. This is very important. In n8n, you need to get in the habit of saving. So anytime you make changes, just save it, okay? So we have our mcpServer trigger, and we have the production URLs. So now we need to connect it somewhere. And you have multiple options. Anywhere where MCPs are accepted, you can connect it. Whether that is Cursor, Claude Desktop, or any other AI agents that's on the MCP protocol, you can connect your n8n workflows to that. I'm telling you guys, few people understand the power of this, because not only can you take n8n and put it anywhere where MCP is accepted, but you can also take any tool built on top of MCP and put it into n8n. So it's like vice versa. So for the sake of this video, I've chosen Claude Desktop. Just type in Claude Desktop, literally click the first link, choose your operating system and download it. Once it's downloaded, double click on the installer and move it into your applications folder. Then open up the app, Claude, and log in with the same account you use on the web app. If you don't have an account, just create one. Super easy, takes literally 30 seconds. Now, once you have Claude open, what we need to do is actually go to the settings, but not in the app, the macOS settings. So go all the way to the top left, click on Claude, click on settings. In here, click on developer, and you need to enable this. If you don't see it, you need to enable developer mode. Then in here, click on edit config. This will open up the location of the Claude Desktop config JSON file. You need to open this in any text editor or code editor, such as Windsurf, Cursor, VS Code, or even Notepad, it doesn't matter. Just open it with something, I'm going to use Cursor. So this is what it looks like when you have it filled out, but if it's your first time, you either don't have the file, in which case, when you open the config folder, when you click on edit config, you need to create this file, right? Claude_desktop_config.json. Just create this file and then open it in something. Doesn't matter. So if your file is empty, you need to paste in the following JSON. And again, I'm going to leave this below the video so you can copy it. This is for the n8n JSON, right? So all you need to do is replace this URL with the one that n8n gives us. Again, switch to production URL and click on this to copy it. Switch back into your Cursor or any text editor you're using and paste that in. Make sure to save the file. Now, you do need Node.js for this. If you don't have Node.js, I'm gonna show you how to install it. So go to your browser, go to nodejs.org and simply download it. And if you get stuck at any point, just go to ChatGPT and say, how do I install Node.js on my MacBook? Give me step-by-step instructions. Answer in short. Enable web search and it will tell you the latest up-to-date things on what to do. And again, you might run into different errors than me. And this applies in n8n as well. I'll try to show you how to overcome all these errors, but probably, if you build multiple n8n agents, probably you're going to run into some unexpected errors. But most people at those points get stuck. That's why most people don't have any AI automations running. That's why most people don't have any AI agents saving them time. It's simply because they get stuck at those errors. All you have to do is take a screenshot, take a deep breath, describe what happened, and let ChatGPT or O3 or any powerful model, Vectel, Claude, help you out. So if you're having troubles with the config not loading in Claude, you probably don't have Node.js installed. Okay, but once you save this, and once you update the URL to the production URL from n8n, what you need to do is you need to close Claude Desktop. Completely close it, quit the application, and then restart Claude Desktop. Okay, so we have actually some errors, so let's solve these in real time. Server disconnected, blah, 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 open MCP settings. So let's see what's happening here. Argument, SSC, command, npx. Okay, I think I know what I did wrong. So I think the setup is correct, but inside of Brave browser, you need to activate your n8n automation, right? So this needs to be active, so let's restart Claude again. Let's see if the MCP server connects. Okay, no error this time, and we see this, one MCP tool available. If we click on that, we can see this is the calculator from server n8n. So if I say, how much is 89 times 91, use the n8n tool. And again, obviously, calculator is nothing impressive, but this is just to demonstrate how to connect the MCP server. We will run way more impressive tools in a second, so be patient. Now this is what it looks like when Claude tries using MCP for the first time. It will say allow tool n8n local. You can allow either for the entire chat or allow once. Obviously this calculator, so there's nothing to worry about. So I'm gonna click allow for chat and it runs the input and here's the output. Boom, we can even run the calculator to test out if it's true. 8991, and it is correct. So now you don't have to rely on the LLM, you can simply call the tool. All right, so now that we have our MCP server trigger from n8n connected to Claude Desktop, I'm gonna show you something way better. We're gonna create a separate automation where we can use the n8n AI agent to interact with specific tools. So this server trigger, you can connect tools, and one of them could be call n8n workflow tool, right? Here we need to select one of our active n8n workflows, but since we haven't created any, I'm just gonna leave this empty with the error. I'm gonna save this and we're gonna create the workflow tool right now. So go to the top left, click on plus, click on workflow. So this is a new workflow and in n8n you can call these workflows as tools. So you can literally build essentially anything and everything with this. So for the trigger, we need to select when executed by another workflow. For the input data, we can select accept all data for now. And then click on plus and here we're gonna select our AI agent. This is a very powerful feature. This is what makes n8n stand out above Make.com, Zapier, and other competitors. And again, remember to save. Always save after changes. So our AI agent, why? Well, think about this, right? You have your Claude. You don't want to have Claude have instructions for absolutely every single MCP you're going to be using. Soon enough, me and you, we're going to have hundreds of MCPs connected to our AI agents, and we're going to have hundreds of AI agents. So this complexity will be crazy, right? But not every AI agent should have knowledge of everything. Imagine you're the CEO of a large company, right? And you have literally thousands of employees. You don't need to have knowledge of what some janitor is doing on building number 17 with, broken toilet. That would absolutely destroy your decision making as the CEO. This is the same with AI agents. If you have your main AI agent, which for this case might be Claude, might be Cursor, or any other agent that accepts MCPs, you don't want this agent to have all this random knowledge from, specialized agents running in different parts of your life or business. That's why inside of n8n, we're going to have the workflow where this AI agent has specialized knowledge about these tools inside of n8n, such as Google Calendar. We can also do Google Sheets. I mean, look, browse through all these options that n8n offers. I'm pretty sure you can automate any workflow you want. But my point is that information how to use these tools and how to interact with them, you shouldn't feed that into Claude. You shouldn't feed that into your main agent. That should be in this AI agent inside of n8n. This agent should have knowledge of its tools and how to use them. Then, let me actually save this. When we call the MCP server trigger right here, and it decides to call this tool, which we can name Google Sheets, for example, it will delegate to the specific workflow, which actually we haven't named. So let's save that. And let's name this workflow Google Sheets agent. Boom, save. And let's name the main workflow main na10 MCP. So when this MCP server is triggered by Claude and it decides to use this tool named Google Sheets and it delegates to the Google Sheets agent, that agent has specialized knowledge for all these tools. But Claude, as the main AI agent, doesn't need to have all that context. It will be a distraction. Just like it will be a distraction for Elon Musk to know when some toilet is broken at SpaceX factory, right? Same concept applies to AI agents. Like all of us will be CEOs of 1,000 agent companies soon enough. And you really have to start thinking like this to build effective agents that are specialized, that are really good at one thing. And then your main AI agent can delegate to them. And by the way, I'm not just saying these things. I'm actually doing them with my own companies. So this is Vectel. This is my AI startup. By the way, if you're not using Vectel as your productivity app, you're falling behind. But let me show you how we did it with the agent, right? So let's say you have too many tasks and you want some clarity. I can say archive half of our tasks. This is the main chat agent, right? So he's going to receive your prompt and then look what he does. Communicating with task agent. This is a specialized AI agent just for tasks. And boom, that agent archives half of the tasks. And then the main agent reports back to me. This is exactly how we build Vectel. And this is exactly how you need to think in the future when designing your AI agents. So we have this workflow tool. We named it now, which is progress. Let me save again. Inside of here, we could do a description. This tool can interact with the user's Google Sheets. Okay, I think that's good enough. Let's save it again. And let's switch to the Google Sheets agent again. So you can see this is red. That's for multiple reasons. First of all, we didn't assign the chat model to it. So let's click on plus. Let's just go with OpenAI because why not? Doesn't matter. You can choose Anthropic, you can choose Google, whatever you want. For the model, we're going to use 4.1 actually is really good. GPT 4.1. There we go. But in order to make this work, you have to make a connection with your OpenAI API key. And again, this is one of these points in the video where a lot of people will get scared like, oh my God, David, I don't know what API keys are. Listen, it's super simple. It's literally like there's 9-year-old girls on Twitter with the help of their parents that are coding apps with API keys. So don't be afraid of API keys. Are you going to prevent an API key from automating hours of your life? Think about that. So as you can see, I already have 2 connections, but if this is your first time using na10, you will not have anything in here. So just click on create new credential and we need the API key. So what do you do when there's something that you don't know how to do? You ask AI. And by the way, this is exactly how I work when I'm building Vectel. If there's something that I don't know how to do, I just use AI. I mean, it sounds so obvious, but most of you guys are still not using AI tools enough. So you can say, how do I get my OpenAI API key? Give me step-by-step instructions, answer in short, and enable web search. Boom. To obtain your OpenAI API key, follow these steps. Visit platform OpenAI. Okay, let's open this. Click on the profile icon, top right corner. Okay, so as you can see, I'm already logged in. If you are not logged in, log in with the same account used in ChatGPT. Super simple. Select view API keys. So let's do that. Dashboard. And on the left, boom, API keys. It's as simple as that. In the top right, click on create new secret key. Type in test na10 key, create secret key, and boom, copy. By the way, do not share your API keys with anybody. Treat them as passwords. Go back into your Google Sheets agent in na10 and paste in the key. Click on save. And this should do a test to figure out if the connection is successful. And if you see this green box, connection tested successfully. Okay, now we have to click out and save again. Make sure to save after each action. So you can see our AI agent is no longer red. This means that it's actually executable. You can actually run it. But we also need to give it some instructions because currently it doesn't have any prompt. So in here, click on add option and click on system message. This is the system prompt. We need to just tell it what tools it has, right? So let's delete the Google Calendar and let's focus on the Google Sheets tool. So I'm going to say, you are a helpful assistant. You can call the Google Sheets tool to interact with the user's Google Sheet files. I'm going to keep it super simple for now. And again, hit save. All right. So as you can see, we have an error on the Google Sheets, and that's because we have not connected it to any of our Google accounts. Okay. So click on the Google Sheets node. Okay. So click on the Google Sheets node. And in here, we need to do a bunch of stuff. So first of all, we need to connect a new credential. This is, Google has made this part more difficult than it should be, but bear with me. I'm going to show you all the steps so you can replicate it. So what we need is the OAuth 2. Select this. And na10 gives us the OAuth redirect URL. But it's up to us to get these 2 things, the client ID and the client secret. We need to get that from the Google Client Console. So how do we do that? Well, let's ask ChatGPT. How do I get, and by the way, you can just take a screenshot. Boom, copy screenshot. I want to show you how I'm solving problems in real time so that, see, like this is the, don't give a man a fish, teach him how to fish or whatever. If you give him a fish, you feed him for a day. If you teach him how to fish, he's fed for a lifetime. This is the same thing. I don't want to just show you this specific thing for a single video. I want to show you how I solve problems in any situation, in any of my businesses, in my life. You can take a screenshot and describe it, and the AI will help you. The models are good enough, okay? It's 2025. The AI models are good enough to help you solve any problem, especially O3. I mean, guys, this is, I'm going to put you on some game. O3 plus image reasoning plus web search. Whew, this is crazy. Like, you can do anything with this, essentially. So I'm just saying, how do I get these credentials from Google Cloud Console? Give me step-by-step instructions. Check web answer in short. You can see this is like elite prompt engineering here. You can just steal it. I don't care. So what O3 can do, it can analyze images. It can zoom in into different parts of images. It can do web search. It can run code with code interpreter. It can use any tool inside of ChatGPT. But the difference is that this is a reasoning model. So after each tool call and before each tool call, it can reason about what to do, what the results of the tool call were, and stuff like that. So O3 is very, very powerful. So if you're not paying for ChatGPT Plus, you're missing out, to be honest. So while this is reasoning, you can just go to Google and type in Google Cloud Console. Click on the first link. Now make sure you actually log in with the same account that your Google Sheets are going to be on, because you want access to this, right? So whatever account you select in the Google Cloud Console, make sure it's the same account that you're going to have the sheets in, that we're going to connect to n8n. Okay, so once you log in into Google Cloud Console, it should look like this, right? You have your profile in the top right corner, you have stuff here. In the left, click on navigation menu, click on API and services, and OAuth consent screen. Again, pay attention. On the left, API and services, OAuth consent screen. Now actually, if this is your first time using Google Cloud, you need to create a project. So as you can see, I have a bunch of projects in here, but I'm going to create a new one. I'm going to name it n8n testing create. And now Google is creating a brand new project for us to use. Okay, there it is. Let's select this project. And you need to see it in the top left. So make sure you see it here. So we're in the OAuth overview, right? So what we need to do is get the client ID and client secret. So let's do that. On the left, click on clients. Let me zoom in a bit for you. Click on get started. You need to give it an app name. So I'm going to do n8n Google Sheets agent. Doesn't really matter. Support email, just select your main email. Next. In here, you can select either internal or external. Honestly, for this type of situation, what we're doing, it doesn't really matter. So just select either or. Contact email address, just put your main address again. Next. And you need to agree to the terms of service. Continue and create. Okay, there it is. OAuth configuration created. So go to clients again on the left. And we need to create a new OAuth 2.0 client. We're getting there, guys. I told you, Google has made this overcomplicated for no reason. This is not the fault of n8n, and it's definitely not the fault of the hostinger. Hostinger and n8n make it actually super easy. Google has recently, for some reason, overcomplicated this process. But then again, you can view it with the bright side, right? There is less competition. There is less people that are actually going to build AI agents with n8n because it's a bit more complex now. Anyways, inside of the Google Cloud Console, click on Create Client, Application Type. So application type, do web application. And by the way, a real quick tip. Inside of n8n, you can see there is this box with more info. When you click on that, the official docs open up. So if you're stuck with something, just go to the docs. And if you don't want to read through it, copy the entire docs, go into ChatGPT and say, give me a TLDR summary. What type of application should I select? This is how you should use it. You should use the official docs for any API, any service you use, because the official docs always are the best source of truth. And then you can paste in the official docs into AI to give you a more concise, targeted answer. So there it is, blah, 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 web application. Okay, client, web client 1, doesn't matter. And in here, we need to do authorized redirect URLs. So n8n gives us that very easily. Just click on this and click on add URL, paste that in, and click on create. And there it is. We have the client ID and the client secret. So let's copy that. And let's copy this. Boom. Let's save this. Now, once you do that, you can see a new button has appeared. Sign in with Google. Let's click on that. Select the same account that we used for everything. And then, as you can see, n8n wants some permissions. View, Google Drive, blah, blah, blah. Allow. And connection successful. By the way, if you run into some errors, what you might need to do is inside of the Google Cloud Console, you need to go to Audience. And if your app is external, actually this is true. If your app is external, you need to add your own email as the test user, okay? So again, if you're getting some errors with this connection, make sure you add yourself as a test user inside of audience right here. Okay, but luckily we didn't get these errors. We have the account connected, we have everything green. So what is the next step? Save. You need to save stuff. So there it is. We saved it. Now let's go into actually Google Drive and let's create the Google Sheets. So I'm gonna do Google Sheets, and just to give you an example of how powerful this could be, you can have a list of potential leads. So I'm gonna say potential business leads, right? And then you can have a name, company, website, email, and whatever other fields you want to have for your leads. Okay, so once you have created the Google Sheet, we can actually connect it inside of n8n. So go back to your main Google Sheets agent, not the MCP trigger. Click on the tool, Google Sheets tool, and you can actually rename this tool to say add a new row. Rename. And at the bottom, we need to select the document. So let's click on choose. And we have an error. Interesting. Google Drive API has not been used, blah, blah, blah. Okay, let's go back to Google Console and I'm going to show you problem solving in real time. Again, you can use ChatGPT if it's something different. But for this one, I know what to do. Google Drive. Just type in Google Drive. We have to enable the API. Google Drive API, yes. And again, make sure in the same project that you created your client in. And we need to enable this. So let's click on enable. This will take a few seconds to load. Okay, it's enabling. And there it is. So the OAuth should now have access to it. And the way to do that is we need to refresh. Let's reload our n8n agent over here. Let's click on the Google Sheets tool again. And there it is. So it didn't throw an error this time. This time it actually showed us a bunch of my Google Sheets. I'm going to select this one, potential business leads. This is the new one I just created. And we also need to select the sheet. So if you're a beginner with Google Sheets, you might be confused like, David, what is a sheet? Didn't we just select that? Yes, this is a Google Sheet. However, each sheet at the bottom has different sheets. So, you know, don't get confused by this. But by default, it's named Sheet 1. So let's just select that. Sheets API has not been used. Okay, so this is interesting. We have a same error, but for Google Sheets. Again, let's go back to our console. I'm going to do Sheets, Google Sheets API. I guess we have to enable this one as well. Enable. But see, I could easily cut these errors out, but I think it's good to show you that no matter what error you encounter, it is solvable. You need to drill this into your head. So many of you guys just stop and quit too early. Like, you don't know what's possible. And this goes beyond AI agents, obviously. This goes to your entire life, but just don't quit at the first error or the first uncertainty, right? Okay, so now we have the Google Sheets API also enabled. Let's go back into n8n. Let's save, let's reload, and we'll see if we get this error again. Okay, we are still getting this error. Parameter sheet is required from list. Okay, oh, there it is. So it just didn't load. So let's select sheet 1. And we also need to select which operation this tool should be doing. So since we want this tool to be add a new row, we need to do append row. So click on append row. And again, exit out and save. Now, when you click on the tool again, you'll see that we need some values to send. Now, if you just click on this, the model, aka the AI model, aka our AI agent, will decide what to send. So that's what we want. So let's save that. And now we can actually probably test it out. So let's go into Claude. Let's see if there's some bottleneck or not. I'm going to create a new chat and I'm going to say, using the n8n MCP tool, add a new row of mock data into our Google Sheet. And if you have the slightest bit of imagination, you can see the potential of this. You can use the AI agent to browse the web for specific leads. Let's say, you know, in Australia, in Sydney, whatever, and you just want companies in Sydney that do marketing. You can have Claude browse the web. By the way, Claude now has native web browsing. So no longer do we have to connect it with MCPs to like Brave. And what that means is that it can browse the web for specific companies in your area, get their, you know, name, contact, website, email, whatever you want. And then through the MCP and through n8n, it can add them into your Google Sheet. And again, this is just one tool. Imagine the possibilities, like all of these things available in n8n. You can now connect to any AI agent that's compatible with MCP. Like, guys, please take a moment to think about this. This is really like we're watching this in front of our eyes. We're watching the entire AI agent field grow up and completely shift in front of our eyes. And most people are still somehow not building AI agents, which I find absolutely incredible. But anyways, seems like the Claude has failed, and I think we just need to restart it. So again, this is like the basic tech support. Turn it off and on. Literally applies for software as well. So I'm gonna restart Claude, and we should see more tools. Okay, I don't know what this is, or Claude Code. This is a different video. I already made a video on that. But now we see two tools, two MCP tools, Calculator and Google Sheets. Amazing. So let's ask the agent again. Use the Google Sheets MCP tool to add mock data about a new Australian client. Okay? So let's see if it works now. Okay, so yes, it wants to use the tool NA10 Google Sheets. Let's allow for this chat. And this is the instruction it sends to the agent. Create a new sheet, blah, blah, blah. I need to be more specific in my request. Add a row into the sheet with mock data. Okay, I'm encountering some issues. There might be some issues. Let's see if it fixes those itself or not. So it created a nice table, but that's not what we wanted. The issue actually might be with our setup over here. Let's see if our workflows are correctly connected. So mcpServer trigger can use this tool, which actually let's rename this. It is named Google Sheets. Okay, let's rename it as well. So this tool can interact with Google Sheets. Okay, I don't think we're passing the information correctly. Okay, so let's try to be more specific with this. When executed by another workflow, I'm gonna, instead of accept all data, I'm gonna do define using fields below, and I'm gonna do prompt for agent. Type string, add field. So type string, yes. Let's save that. And inside of the agent, we should specify this. Define connected chat trigger node. Oh, I think I know what the issue is. So again, we didn't enable it, right? We didn't enable our workflow. And actually one thing we can do is say, what exactly was the issue you have encountered? Give us the technical info. Be specific. Answer in short. So let's figure out what Claude got stuck at. Requires specific authorization per API connections. No prompt specified. Okay, so it needs to specify the prompt. So maybe the issue is actually in here. Let's see. Source database workflow input. Okay, so there it is. Let the model define this parameter. Oh, yeah. So we need to pass the workflow inputs in here. Okay, let's see. Define automatically by the model. Let's see if this alone fixes that. I'm gonna save. And let's try again. Let's try a new Claude chat. I'm gonna say, add a new row of mock client data into our Google Sheet using the MCP tool Google Sheets. Okay, allow for this chat. Okay, seems like it's not aware of these fields, but I'm not sure if that is the error. Okay, so we are getting this error. Expose the real tool, not a second workflow. mcpServer trigger can only talk to tool nodes. Okay, so I guess ChatGPT doesn't really understand how our setup looks like. Let's stop this test. I'm gonna take a screenshot of our workflow. Boom, paste it in, and then our AI agent. Here's what our NA10 setup looks like. Your task is to help me properly set up the mcpServer trigger as well as so that we are correctly passing the data down into. Okay, so let's see what else it says. Pass the prompt explicitly. Google Sheets and set prompt defined below. Okay, let's see if that is the case. Maybe the issue is here. Okay, this is null. Wow. So I'm gonna do define below expression, and let's test this step. Okay, it says connect. Wait, let's reload this. Says it ran successfully. Okay, it didn't use the tool though, so let's save. Okay, so now the issue is that our mcpServer trigger isn't passing info into our input instructions JSON object as a parameter with clear instructions for the Google Sheets AI agent. And then we should reload this because it's named instruction. And then for the value, let's do expression from AI. Let's see if that works. Save. All right. Let's go back to Claude. Okay, this is a different issue. Okay, so the issue might have been that inside of MCP right here, in the mcpServer trigger, the Google Sheets tool cannot have any special characters. So just format this in simple sentences. Don't include any quotation marks, anything like that. And then at the bottom, instructions, make sure it's defined by AI and just copy the same description as in here. This should solve the error with Claude that was causing. Let's try that again. Okay, so now the Claude can actually call the MCP tool again. That's good. Let's see if it successfully propagates to our AI agent over here. And we'll know that by the leads appearing in our Google Sheet. Let's go back to Claude. So it correctly did add the instruction with a clear instruction to the agent. Okay, so let's see what the issue is. Okay, so we should probably specify the columns of our... Oh, there it is. Okay, so it actually works. Nice. So yeah, Claude is now adding new leads, and you can literally use this AI agent to browse the web for a company in your city or whatever city you're targeting or region, or it doesn't even need to be a city. You can just have it generate leads for you, and it can call the MCP tool, call this N8N workflow, and update that straight into Google Sheets. Yeah, this is pretty amazing, and even though we had a bunch of errors, we've managed to get it working. So literally, if you just follow steps in this video, you'll be able to build something that 99% of people in the AI space can only dream of. So just to recap what the fix was. The main issue was that we were not propagating the data from Claude into our MCP server trigger, into the tool, and then into our secondary workflow. The data needs to flow all the way through, right? All the way to the Google Sheet. So I think the main issue was right here in the tool. We need to give it a description. And the reason, actually the way I did it is I made it inspired by the calculator description, which N8N defines itself. So I just rewrote this for Google Sheets. And the mistake is that you cannot put any special characters here. You cannot do quotation marks, anything like that. That will just throw an error. So once you add the description, at the bottom in the instructions, you can click on this button on the right, defined by AI. And then for the description, just do the same description. Then inside of the actual agent, Google Sheets agent workflow, in here you have the instruction, you have the string, right? Again, define using fields below and set it up like this. In the AI agent, you need to put JSON.instructions, exactly like it is here. And then when we call the AI agent, it uses the OpenAI GPT 4.1 model to parse the request. And if the instruction is about adding a new row, it will then use the tool, the add a new row Google Sheets tool, to actually add the new row into our Google Sheets. So you can, again, if you have the slightest bit of ambition and imagination, you can see the potential of this. You can have multiple AI agents browsing the web, generating leads for you, and automatically adding them to Google Sheets. And if you are like a company that sells leads to other businesses, this could be your entire delivery, selling targeted leads to companies. Guys, we really live in the future. There's literally people, there's people at companies, there's millions of people in the world whose job is just this, researching leads online and putting them in Google Sheets. And we just built this entire job with N8N and MCPs. Think about that. We've built this entire job. And all you need to do is type in a prompt into Claude. That's it. You say I need 10 new leads from Mexico City. Boom. That's it. Guys, we're living in the future. So if you want to be on the cutting edge of AI, make sure to watch this video again. Go through all these steps and actually set this up. I don't care how difficult it might seem. You've seen me battle all these errors and you've seen me solve all these errors. It is possible. So make sure to use the Hostinger link below because you want your AI agents to be running 24/7. Don't make this mistake that many people make of building AI agents and then just not deploying them. You need to deploy your agents so that they're actually running. Hostinger is by far the best solution. That's why I partnered with them in the past, and that's why I partnered with them again, because it's an affordable, secure VPS that's super easy to set up. I mean, you see it at the start. It took us 2 minutes to set up Hostinger. The issues were with the MCP stuff and with the more advanced stuff, right? That's where we ran into some errors. But again, with the help of ChatGPT, with the help of Cursor, with the help of Claude, we are able to solve these. Anything is possible now. You can build anything. You can automate literally anything and everything with the power of N8N, Hostinger, and MCPs. So if you watched until the end, please take this as inspiration and build your first AI agent and actually deploy it. Don't just build it, deploy it and have it running every single day, saving you time for the rest of your life. I don't care what AI agent it is. I don't care if it's lead generation. I don't care if it's invoice collection. I don't care if it's email responding. You have something in your life that is a repetitive task that you should not be doing yourself, that you should delegate to AI agents. Identify that task, follow this video, and build an AI agent for it using N8N MCPs. And again, thanks for Hostinger for sponsoring this video. Go and use the link below. Use the code David to save another 10%. And with that being said, thank you guys for watching. And if you want me to make more videos on N8N, make sure to comment below specific ideas of things I should build in N8N. With that being said, have a wonderful and productive week. See ya.